Hello everyone, and we are here at Throttle Leopard Trail, soaking in some sun after the long foggy week that we've recently had. Um, so I'm here for a very special reason, and I have come out of the city approximately 40 kilometers away from my home to introduce you all to what the world thinks is the image for the Indian automotive industry. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hindustan ambassador. But now something has changed. This is the new image of the Indian automotive industry. Is the Tata Altroz 1.2 turbocharged petrol engine, which we have recently got to test it out and see if this car is actually the hot hatch that we've all been waiting for. There's a lot of hype around this car for the last few months, and we were eager to get behind the wheel of this particular unit. So we're going to talk you through about how this car feels. There's a lot going on the inside, and there is a lot of controversial talks happening about how this car really didn't live up to its hype. But I've sort of had a different experience altogether, and I will share it through and through. Sort of starting off with this beautiful shade, which is exclusive to the Altroz Turbo. It's called the Harbor Blue. It looks like the Marina Blue that comes in the Porsche 911 that I saw on the PTS shade card, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So let's get inside, get behind the wheel, and let's figure out if this car really is something that we should all be looking forward to getting for our own selves. Before we get inside, there is something very interesting which is very specific to this top of the line XZ Plus variant. We have this activity key which looks very similar to that we get in the Jaguar F-Pace. It's sort of a fitness band look-alike, but it's actually a key. So what you do is you bring it near to the car, press the request sensor, and it opens up the door. You can keep the normal keys at home or inside the car, and we are roaming around everywhere. If you're going on a trip and you don't want to carry the physical keys with you and you think that you're going to lose them, it's a very, very smart feature. Why don't other manufacturers think about this? The first thing you notice is that these doors open up 90 degrees, so they do allow a very comfortable ingress and egress from the Altroz. But a bigger problem is that it takes quite an effort to bend down and pull these doors because they are very heavy indeed. And the heft is because of the sheet that is used in this car is very strong. The Altroz scores a full 5 stars in the global NCAP test, which is quite a commendable thing, and it does tell the world that India and Indian manufacturers are moving towards some really safe cars that comes out of their factory. First impressions, everything feels very, very nice. There are some beautifully carved materials everywhere. The steering has a flat bottom, feels very sporty. It's got some nice thumb grips. First things first, touch points. The central armrest, it's slidable, has a leather covering which is exclusive to this iTurbo variant. The plastic behind the steering, very soft indeed, and the armrest on the door pad is also pretty soft, something that we haven't seen in cars of its competition yet. Every car gets plastic and hard scratchy material. So Tata has made sure that it does provide attention to detail in their products. The interior feels very airy indeed, and it is inflated by the fact that this interior trim is a bit milkish in shade with the black on top. So the visuals of the space is quite large. You don't feel claustrophobic inside this car. So we're taking it out from the leopard trail. Just to tell you, the path that exits from the leopard trail to the main road of Pandala Hills is actually quite rough, and the dampers and coilovers of this Altroz just smoothens everything out. Wow, the ride quality is actually very pliant at slow speeds. I mean, we're really going through some bad patches and the Altroz just irons it out very significantly. So we'll start off by keeping this car in the city mode. As we accelerate the engine past the 2000 RPM marker, it does start to get a bit gruffy. It is quite audible on the inside. Tata could have done a bit more damping, but that also means adding a bit more weight to the already hefty car. But the ride quality is very good indeed. We are just coming up to a sharp speed bump. Ooh. That was well taken care of. I mean, I did slow the car down quite a lot, but I think if I go at this speed, it still doesn't crash. The clutch pedal is very light. The steering inputs on city speeds is very light indeed. It feels very comfortable, very nimble to move this car around through traffic, through bad patches. Also, Tata has made sure that it gives you great quality materials on some of the direct access touch points. Like this AC vent right here has a bit of a metal surround. It has physical rotors and buttons for the air conditioning instead of those gimmicky touchpads and touch screens to control it all. The armrest is very nicely positioned. Everything feels great and luxurious. What I also loved, being the first generation Hyundai i20 owner, is the massive glove box. It has a soft opening and it has a lot of space. I can easily put my small laptop, a couple of bottles of beverages, or even a handbag inside that glove box. Well done, Tata. Let's talk about the engine. It's a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine that produces 110 PS of max power and 140 Newton meters of max torque. It is a detuned unit from the Nexons because there is a bit of fuel economy that Tata has to take care of. This car is quite hefty. There is a lot of controversy happening that with that much of power, this car does not do a very good 0 to 100 timing, and I do understand. Tata has made sure that you get the strongest and stiffest of materials to build this car, and because of the weight, which is comprised by all of this safety material, it really takes a lot of effort for the engine to pull. But that being said, where this car does not outperform its competition in terms of sheer numbers, it surprises multi-folds in the way it handles. The suspension setup, the communicative steering, the connection between the front wheels and the steering wheel is just beautiful. And I'm not saying this to promote a Tata car to the public, but genuinely speaking, the way this car handles on sharp corners is beautiful. There is a very well controlled body roll. Like I just took a hairpin turn. Very good indeed. I do understand there are a lot of customers who are looking for sure 0 to 100 times. I get it. This is not the best car for taking out on those weekend drag races at the racetrack. But as a tool to make you feel special and to really put you in control behind the steering wheel, there's nothing like it. It feels planted, it feels reassuring every time you hit a corner, every time you brake, every time you accelerate. It's just so immensely entertaining. And now we talk about the party trick of the Altroz iTurbo, which is the new sport mode. There is this tiny button behind the gear lever over here. Press that.
Sport drive mode activated.
And you get a voice prompt telling you that the sport mode has been activated. And what it does is it sharpens up the throttle response. The turbo spools better. There is a bit more boost that opens up. Wow. The Altroz indeed is quite a wonderful car to drive. The transition from corner to corner is just so well balanced. There is hardly any body roll that you feel. Wow. Shift down. The second we have a 90-degree turn over here. And it just takes it in a very confidence-inspiring manner. Just so enthusiastic to drive. Woohoo! Who would have thought that an Indian manufacturer could come up with something so good that it delights the real enthusiast in you? It's not the most powerful car in its category. It is the most beautiful looking, of course. But it definitely is something that would put a smile on your face. What a machine.